Trump declares war on global court, protecting U.S. sovereignty. At the very core of America's identity has always been a fierce defiance of distant powers, a stubborn opposition to those who seek to undermine our right to self-rule or impose their will on a people determined to decide their own destiny. This spirit not only brought America into being, but it's essential for our nation to preserve its sovereignty into the future. America again defied those who would undermine our right to self-rule. The Trump administration took a decisive stand when the Secretary of State announced they would dismantle the International Criminal Court, sending a clear message about American resolve. This isn't just talk. The plan involves diplomatic pressure on nations that partner with American law enforcement or our military, coordinating with allies to reject ICC authority, imposing sanctions against the ICC and its affiliates, and even visa bans for ICC personnel. Senator Mike Lee has championed similar legislative efforts, including the ICC Out of NYC Act, aimed at preventing the ICC from using United Nations properties in New York City. The ICC, however, remains convinced of its own power to challenge American sovereignty and wage what it calls lawfare against American citizens, soldiers, and public servants. A global court attempting to wield ultimate authority above and beyond any nation-state poses a direct and dire threat to the continued sovereignty of the United States that simply cannot be tolerated. As Americans, we wholeheartedly reject the notion that a supranational entity, especially one formed by a statute never ratified by our country, has legitimate jurisdiction over our citizens and our leaders. The U.S. Constitution is our law and guide, and none other. To surrender the legal authority of the United States government to an unaccountable transnational organization would amount to a betrayal of the American people and an abdication of our right to self-rule. An active and emboldened ICC would mean American sovereignty is contingent on the whims of a globalist entity run by those who have never stood for election in front of the American people, never represented America's interests, and never sworn loyalty to America's Constitution. No self-respecting nation, certainly not one founded in rebellion against the tyranny of a far-off power, can allow unelected globalists to wield unchecked power against its citizens, soldiers, and leaders. The United States has worked to impose limits on the ICC for decades. Presidents from both parties, from Bill Clinton to George W. Bush to Barack Obama, have warned against the threat posed by the court to American sovereignty. None were willing to ratify the Rome Statute, which would surrender American sovereignty into the hands of globalist bureaucrats. But despite past presidents' reluctance to fully legitimize the court, none were willing to take decisive action to prevent the severe breaches of sovereignty that the ICC remains capable of committing today. Tepid half measures are not sufficient in the fight to defend America's sovereignty. Only President Donald Trump is proving bold enough to take decisive action against the capabilities of the ICC. This is necessary to ensure that American citizens and service members are never subjected to foreign tribunals, and so America's elected leaders are never threatened with arrest for acting in accordance with our country's national interest. No nation is truly independent when it allows an unaccountable court to sit above it and claim jurisdiction over its people and elected officials. Weaker countries may be content handing veto power over their foreign and domestic policy to an unaccountable supranational body, but such a blatant departure from national self-rule is entirely alien to the American tradition, mind, and spirit. That's why the Trump administration is right to take on the ICC and ensure it never has the capability to threaten the United States and her people.